That was awkward. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Last Rites. I believe it's episode 58. I organised all this in the last 15 minutes, by the way. I was in a store 7 minutes ago, and I ran back just to do this wonderful podcast that's completely out of the blue and wasn't really planned. So, obviously, that's not Jamie sat there. It's supposed to be with Jamie today. Jamie's aged a bit and lost all his hair.
I am Jamie. I can't do it, Jamie.
No, it's hard. It's a hard one. The Welsh accents are hard anyway, but Jamie's style of Welsh is it's I don't know, Doug. I don't know, something like that.
I can do one word at a time if I practice one word at a time, but putting a whole sentence together, I'll never be able to do it. Never.
There are so many different accents in Wales as well. It's well, you travel 3 or 4 miles, and I swear there's a different accent for every little hill.
You know, that comedian D.A. Sidwell I had on once before, I'm having him on tomorrow. His Facebook, he's American, but his Facebook pro timeline picture is a Welsh flag, the dragon thing.
Right.
I got to ask him about that tomorrow. I'm wondering why he's got that up there, because he's an American dude. I know he's like...
Maybe some heritage family.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of Welsh around. There's Argentina, weirdly, has got a huge Welsh expat population.
Why is that?
I can't remember. There's a reason, and I should know, and I've probably been told many times.
There's got to be a reason.
Yeah, Patagonia, I think. There's a lot of Welsh import. Maybe they went there to work.
I like that name, Patagonia.
I don't know. Well, the Welsh were historically... coal mining was a huge industry in Wales until the 1980s. So a lot of the...
I know. Rick Lee from 10 Years After, the drummer from 10 Years After, he was a coal miner before he was a drummer.
Right.
And he's a Welsh guy. Yeah, I never got to talk to him. I was supposed to talk to him. He didn't show up, and I never followed up because it's like, I wasn't that big a 10 Years After fan anyway. I only know one song. I Go Home from Woodstock, Alvin Lee.
Yeah, that's probably what I know. There's a lot of songs that I know, but I don't know who. I've known them my whole life, but don't know who sings them. So
yeah,
like radio, just from the radio from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
never really paid attention.
I know, me neither.
But there we go. So you're snowed in, you were saying just now.
No, not really snowed in. I have a couple of inches, but I wasn't expecting any snow at all. It was like spring-like weather here. We told the middle of the country was going to get some snow and get like some winter weather, but I wasn't expecting it. And then I was down here doing my morning show, and I went up to get another cup of coffee. I looked out the window, and there's 3 inches of snow on the ground. It's still coming down. I was like, wow, nobody talked. And the app says it's going to be partly cloudy today, so I guess they blew it.
We've had blue sky twice. I haven't seen a blue sky for about 4 months, it feels like. But Saturday and today was beautiful. It's like being in the Mediterranean, apart from it being cold. But it's just beautiful. I was by the sea down here taking a walk this afternoon. Oh, I'm in a city called Portsmouth, by the way. Maybe it's Portsmouth in the US, because there is a Portsmouth out there, right?
There's several. There's one in Maine, and and one in Oregon, I think. Yeah, Portsmouth is. They say Smith, even though it's mouth. Portsmouth.
Yeah, we say like Portsmouth, I think is the most common myth. Portsmouth. I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know how I say it, but Portsmouth.
Right. You just say it, it just comes out. But if you have to think about it, it becomes ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, the real Portsmouth, which is of course what the British towns are, and then obviously the Americans steal it, but the real Portsmouth here is like a naval town, so it's the Navy base.
I think it is here
too.
Kind of
stuff. Yeah, right. Wow.
The one in Maine is a naval base.
Yeah. We've got active destroyers and stuff in the harbour, and there's a load of old stuff. You've got a really old ship from the 1800s and a couple of defunct destroyers from way back that you can go on like a museum, that kind of stuff.
So is that in England or in Wales?
This is England. This is the south coast of England, right in the bottom, in the middle.
Yeah, and beaches or rocks. What's it like on the sea?
It's got a beach, but the beach is made of pebbles, like stones. So it's
that's like where I live. It's very pebbly. On the North Shore here, it's pebbly, and on the South Shore, it's all like smooth sand. I prefer the South Shore. obviously.
Yeah, the very choppy water as well here. It's not you can't really go in it. You can kind of put your feet in maybe, but it's coming right off the Solent. Yeah, it's really choppy today.
So I could send you a message in a bottle.
You could.
There you
It was,
go, right?
yeah, maybe one did arrive, but yeah, a lot of these coastal towns down the bottom were defending against the French and I guess the Spanish over the years.
Does the
Used to
water
come
go
and
that
raid.
way, or it comes this way? The tide, I don't know. If I threw a bottle off my backyard into what is essentially the Atlantic Ocean, it, would it go out that way, or just stay here because the
I think
tides just keep...
it's complex, isn't it? There's loads of systems. I don't know. I know there's people that would look at it and probably be able to work out roughly where things would go, but yeah, I've no fucking idea. I don't know anything. I don't think it just floats across the sea. There's all kinds of circular patterns in
Yeah,
the tide.
it would help if you can get a whale to like help you out a little bit, or somebody that can swim like long distances, some fish that will help you out. Just tie it to that, like
The
a
water
homing
here,
pigeon or a homing dove.
the water here kind of looks brown. It's just because there's not as much blue sky. It's fucking cold, and it looks a bit brown. So I went to Brazil a few years ago and did some scuba diving. It's beautiful, and in my head, as soon as I come home, I was going to start diving as a hobby, and then I was like, no, actually, it's so cold here.
Same thing happened to me when I went to the Keys and did the snorkeling. I thought I'm going to come home and I'm going to be snorkeling in my backyard, and it's just like, no, it's too cold. The water stays here cold until mid-July.
I'm thinking of doing paddle boarding or something because I really like the look of it. And apparently, my friend was saying last night there's a lot of it down here. So if you can get a calm piece of water and just go out on the paddleboard with a dry suit on or something, that sounds fine to me. But I don't want to be in it.
I think you will end up in it somehow.
Especially when I'm learning. Yeah,
if your first time out, yeah, sure. Yeah. I can't imagine you're not going to fall in.
In Wales, they do it. In Wales, they do it on the rivers. So there's people that go down the river with their dog on it, and they take their lunch and they just eat their sandwiches while they're floating down there. Looks really peaceful. But yeah, when I'm learning, I'll be off that thing.
I could dig that. Let me go. Yeah, we started looking into those several years ago because we see them all the time out here. Guys just making it look easy.
Yeah,
but I think they're kind of expensive, and to get down to my beach, it's like a 450-foot down, and going down is the easy part. So if I'm going to carry a board down there, that's work just carrying it down, but then bringing it back up, it's hard enough to walk up without anything in your hands. Never mind. And
you're probably exhausted after being out on it for a while.
Yeah,
you got to drag it up the stairs. Yeah, it's probably never as idyllic as you think it's going to be.
Yeah,
but I think it's the one thing I can do. I'm not going to dive here, really. I've never been a surfer, so I think paddleboard is a nice, calm looking event.
Yeah. So you're gigging, man. Tell me about it, because it's hard to know what's really going on with you with just following you on Twitter, because especially because I got the impression that your gig last night or the night before was canceled because of fighting. But
no, so I had one gig and I did that, and it was good fun. And then I got a text from Shannon something, who's been on the podcast with the pigeon or the dove. And she goes, oh, there's just a mic down the corner. Come down and get on. So I went down there, but it was just a wild bar. It was crazy. The other acts were just weird. They had music on as well. And then a group of like 25, 30, 18, 19-year-old guys came in, drunk out on the town. And apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently maybe I shouldn't say it on here, but when Shannon was coming out of the toilet, one of the young lads tried to lift her up, like grab her and pick her up, and basically in the process grabbed part of her that she didn't want grabbed. So I didn't know, and she didn't say anything. But when she went up on stage, she just started. I could hear something, and then I tried to film her and realized I was filming the stage, but I can hear her, but there's no one there. But it was a radio mic, and she had gone into the back garden of the pub with the mic. And by the time I got over there, she was just calling this 18-year-old. She was just saying to this 18-year-old boy through the PA system, "Try and rape me, did you? Did you try and rape me?" And I was like, "What's going on?" Because it's obviously public. And then he's panicking. The whole table are just shaking and panicking. And the excuse was, "I've just turned 18." That was the excuse.
Wow.
But
Wow. Well,
that isn't explaining how crazy it was. It was in a pretty lively bar, and she was just basically for 5 minutes we just stood at these guys' table calling them rapists.
wow. Wow.
And then though it being International Women's Week, the female bar manager admonished the comedian and said, "You shouldn't be doing that to our customers." She's like, "Well, he did grab me, but I'm not that bothered about it. But I just thought I would use it as a bit. But I'm kind of angry." But yeah, she got shouted at basically from the bar manager.
Yeah, well, it's bad for business to attack your customers, but there's a couple of things here that first of all, I'm surprised. I didn't know the drinking age was 18. Is it 18 there?
18, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why we're all fucking alcoholics, because I mean it's 21 in the US, but here the
it's
pubs
21
are
now,
18.
but it was 18 when I was a kid.
You start drinking at 15, really, and then you get in a pub when you're 17 with a fake ID. It's probably a lot tougher now.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, 18 is the way to go. Kevin said it's a less hair episode. Yes, it is. The man with his hairline is painting. So.
Wow. Well, I was in a similar altercation. Well, what happened was when I was 18 and it was legal to drink at 18, I was in a bar and there was a girl sitting, ladies' room, and a guy sitting on a bowling game that was directly across from the ladies' room door. And as the women came out, the guy was kicking the door to hit them, trying to get some attention. I don't know why, but he gave one girl a bloody nose, and she wasn't like profusely bleeding, but she had a little blood on her nose, and she was crying. And I went over and I called the guy a dick, and he said, "Well, you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah." So I went to walk out the front door, and he went to sucker punch me, and I had a beer mug in my hand, and I started clocking him with the beer mug, and it broke off in my hand. So now I have like jagged glass, and I was like chopping the guy's head pieces. And the bouncer grabbed me, and I turned around and say, basically say this guy's kicking the door on women, and I have and the guy bit my thumb. And it bit right in deep on both sides. Both teeth penetrated, and I kept hitting him, and he went unconscious. And now he's unconscious, but his jaw is locked on my thumb. And one bouncer starts pulling him away, and the other bouncer's pulling me this way, and I could see bone. And now blood is shooting up into the bar. And basically, when I hit him in the throat, and he opened up his mouth, and I got my thumb at it, and I was like bleeding like crazy, and they snuck me out the back door and took me to the hospital to get my thumb sewn back on. That guy ended up getting in fights with everybody on the street until a cop came and had to fight him in the middle of the highway, and knocked him down, and he got his leg run over and his leg broken. So besides getting his head chopped up with a beer mug, going unconscious and all that stuff, the cops beat him up, and he ended up getting a broken leg in the middle. It was all in the papers. He ended up describing me as a big bushy-haired, blonde-haired guy with a big bushy beard. That was his description of me.
Yeah, I've never been the active assailant, but I've been around bar fights when I was younger that got fucking wild, where people have got glassed and it's hit a vein and it's just pumping blood out everywhere, all that kind of stuff. And then the guy's refusing to get any medical help, but his head's just pumping blood out all over the bar. It's crazy stuff. But we see less of that now. On the whole, there are still some rough. Well, the first time I was down in this town, I did see I saw a girl knock another girl out, and it started where they were both talking to me, either side of me, and then they started arguing, and then they went over, and I heard a scream, and then I walked over, and one of them looked like she was dead. She was just on the floor, like completely sparked unconscious, where the other girl had just cracked her.
Wow.
It looked this other girl though. She had been an audience member at a gig, and she was buying all the comedian shots, and that's why I just went into a bar and saw her and sat next to her, and then this local came up. So I don't know whether it's my fault or what happened, but it was funny. And the other girl looked like she worked on an oil rig or something. Though, to be honest, she looked like she was an Armageddon. Like she would look like a tough, big boots on, tough looking lady, and she cracked this drunk girl so hard that it looked like she was dead. But the way I tried to help, and then I just stepped over her and left and drank my beer. But the way the staff were being around her, it seems that this other girl had caused trouble before. They were like, rolling their eyes and like peeling her off the floor. There we go
Wait,
again.
so you walked away while she was still unconscious? You you just left her there laying on the floor, out looking dead.
I didn't know her. I'd met her sat at that bar.
And on a human level, you want to make sure somebody's not dead before you
Oh no! There were like 5 people helping. There were staff members, and everyone had a limb and was trying to pick her up. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be concerned.
It wasn't just me and her, and I left her. That would be shitty.
Like, she looks dead.
Okay, I would think about it though. If it was just me and her, it would go through my mind. Shall I just leave?
Yeah.
Shall I help? Because then if I help and they wake up, maybe they don't remember. Maybe it looks like I've done it now.
I hear you. That would probably cross my mind too. Like, I don't want to. Maybe I could get out of this without being involved. I won't have to answer any questions about what I saw. Who that? Sugar Cat Loaf is avoiding her actual responsibilities. I didn't know she had any.
It's a great thing to do. I recommend it. Yeah, your responsibility is getting high and walking around New York. Just eating edibles in Central Park. I thought that was the key cat responsibility. Or was that reductionist?
That's a heavy responsibility, and it takes a certain kind of character to be able to fulfill that responsibility.
So what's been going on in your edible week? Have you taken a few days off?
I haven't had an edible since the one last Tuesday that lasted really into the weekend.
That's where you ate like a 125 milligram bar or something, right? Yeah, that's too much. I
did not know. No, it's 225 milligrams.
Wow, too much.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, and I assume just because it said that on the label, and I was like, well, these say 10 milligrams each, but in my mind, it's like, it must be like weaker stuff then. Like, it can't be like 10 times as strong. It just can't be. Why would they put that one little piece of chocolate like this? But
I know in LA they stopped selling stuff that strong because when Joey Diaz and stuff was taken, and they were 250 milligrams, and he used to eat like 10 to 20 of them, so you'd have 2,000. No other human. It's all a tolerance builder, but everyone that I know takes very small amount and they go insane.
Yeah.
Then you see people who do 100, 200, but to do 2,000 to 3,000 nightly, just popping them like sweets, the panic attacks must just be out of this world. But internally, even if you're not exhibiting them.
I did have 3 minutes of where I was pretty sure I was going to die the first night that I took them. Like 7 or 8 hours into it, I was laying in bed and I started having an anxiety attack, and I was pretty sure I was having a heart attack and getting ready to die. And then I realized I'm just so high. I'm working myself. I'm imagining myself into this thing. It's not real. Just let it go. But yeah, they did have that effect on me.
I've been there. I've not been there on edibles because I've not done them too many times, but I've been freaked out a little bit. I've been there on other substances where I thought, this is it, I'm having a heart attack. And I've been just with nothing, just sober as well in the night where my chest hurts. I'm like, and I'll just get a chest pain for 10 minutes. Probably indigestion or something, But it's just, I'm convinced this is it. So I make sure my phone's close so I can dial for an ambulance, but haven't had one yet that I know of. I might have had a mild heart attack and never known about it.
And I hurt myself physically because the effect on your body is to loosen you up so much that your normal aches and pains go away, and you can do things like I was doing stretching exercises and stuff that I hadn't done in like 5 years. And it felt fluid, felt so easy. I even said to my wife, I said, I think this shirt I'm wearing makes me feel like Superman. Like,
you just
shirt, not the edible.
It just made you numb, basically. So you're not really feeling what you're ripping tendons and stuff. It's like,
until the shit wears off. Until it wears off, and then you feel it, and you're like, "Oh my god, I hurt my shoulder, I hurt my leg," and it took like a couple of days to recover, and my shoulder's still kind of recovering.
I'm gonna get some. My friend Dave. It's illegal, so I won't say a second name. My friend Dave posted some down to me, some handmade stuff. So I'm gonna give him a call, and I presume this was an advert for his friend. So I assume he's now selling them. So I'll inquire and get some more sent down because. Yeah, just last summer, I think it was, or maybe last spring. I just did these 2 in 2 days, and they fucked me up for 6 hours. I had to lay down on my bed just lay there, but these kind of dreams.
Oh, you're locked up. Am I locked up? You're locked up for me. No.
Yeah, look, it's the Wi-Fi in this building. It's yeah, I can't control what it's like. I'm on.
I know. I can't control my Wi-Fi either.
So we'll see how long we last. But yeah, 6 hours, and I was kind of having these hybrid dreams about. I remember there was a graveyard, but it was a cool graveyard, but mass graves. I can't remember much else, but I know I was in and out. I was really enjoying this thought pattern. But it did make me physically sick when I stood up. I don't know if you got that. When I used to stand up to go for a pee, I felt really like nauseous. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I got a little bit of that.
So it's probably just getting used to it. You need to get a bit of a tolerance, probably.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going back to taking a whole 225 ever again, but I did order those bars because it was beyond.
But now you know, you try a quarter. Try a
Yeah,
quarter bar,
that's
right? And
what
just see what you like 60 minutes.
the
Just see
problem
what
is
that does.
it took too long. It took like almost 2.5 hours for me to really realize how blown out I was. And normally I'd run out of patience saying, "Oh, this isn't working. I'm just gonna take more," you know, because it takes too long for it to hit you. I think that's the problem.
So you don't know. So it's kind of like drinking. Obviously, in the past, I've done it, and probably recently, you have a couple of drinks, you think, well, this isn't hitting, I'm going to have some more. And that's kind of going down these. I have some more. And then you go outside and everything hits you at once. Like, fuck, miscalculated.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the same with edibles and everything. But it's just tolerance building. Just get used to it slowly, I think. But I can't wait. I can't wait to come out to the States because although I need to be productive and be doing things, even if it's sightseeing, there's definitely going to be 2 or 3 nights where I just take some edibles.
Yeah.
And like just sit down.
Yeah, I haven't tried playing music, performing with them. I'm reluctant to do that, but I want to do that in the same way.
But you wrote some songs whilst at home, right?
Oh, lots. Oh, yeah. No, I've written and played here. I mean, I've played music on them, but that kind of playing, it's not really playing. You don't have to play the whole song. You're just playing your parts. If that makes any sense. Like I'm punching stuff in. Okay, I'm gonna just take the verse here, take the chorus here. Never actually having to. Maybe I'm ruining it for some people who think I'm a better player than I am. But if I'm like doing a guitar solo that sounds like I'm shredding, generally that's done 1 measure or 2 measures at a time. Stop.
I'm gonna get back into guitar because I've played for a long, really played for a couple of years. I sold everything. I just wasn't doing it enough. But I love guitar. I'm not that. Out like that. If you can just let me know. All right, you back, Dory?
No, I'm faking it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a hallucination. Yeah, if people let us know if you can still hear audio when the video disappears, because it's just I can see my Wi-Fi signal going from 5 bars to none, so it's this end. It'll be a short episode anyway. Probably get another 20-30 minutes, and then I've got to go and do a gig and try and think of something to say.
You should do that. Try that on a gig. See if you can freeze up in the middle of the gig.
Just spin. Yeah. I've got a bit towards the end of my set where I stop for a bit, but it depends on the room how long I can do it for. But
so you don't get any sleep lately, though. Here's the thing: I see you on. I know it's late for me, and you're still on Twitter, and then
having Twitter meltdown. Just fucking be yeah. Well, it's because I tend to stay up. I mean, when you're doing gigs, I'm not getting in until whatever, and then on Monday we went to a bar after, and then last night I went to Shannon's house and had dinner, and so I didn't get home till 1:30 again. So then I'm up for an hour, so it's that kind of thing. And tonight we'll see how tonight goes. It might be similar, but yeah, sleep is an issue.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm trying to do math here, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's no break in between here. Like, did you sleep at all? No, you didn't sleep at all. Not
oh no, I'll get even if I go to sleep at 2 or 3, I can sleep till like 9. I don't have to get up early. 9:30, you know. So I can get enough physical sleep, but because of if I've had a few beers, it's not really sleep. You're kind of just unconscious, so I still feel tired. But I'm gonna have lots of time to relax coming up. I've got a busy month. busy 20 days to get shit done, and then I'm going to be having a few relaxing times. So I'm going to make sure that I take care of
Nice.
myself a little bit.
All right, good for you. I did. I was a guest on a podcast last night. It was fun. I don't do that
Nice.
often enough. Oh, I guess I'm doing it now.
Yeah, so this is basically like just a Zoom call at this point, right?
Yeah. But that was fun for me because I generally don't do that, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. You know, why should I be a guest on somebody else's podcast? But it was fun. It was unique, and those guys do. I think they do a good job.
Yeah,
John.
I haven't. Oh, is it John Poveromo? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So and other than that, just plodding away at this shit. But I was wondering what was going on with you and Jamie because I hadn't seen you much. Turns out he's been painting, and you've been on this little road trip.
Yeah, he's been really busy since. Obviously, he hasn't decorated much, and it's got to like Friday, and he's probably thought I can get all this done in 2 days, and it's just going on and on and on. So it's just it takes longer sometimes. So he's done that. I've been away since Monday, and I kind of forgot. And then yesterday I thought, oh, should we go on and do an hour today? And that was the original plan. But we couldn't do it. So yeah, tomorrow obviously we've got Dykes and Mann. There probably won't be a last rites after because I've got I'm going to meet an old colleague tomorrow actually that I've not seen in a while. So I'm just going to go out for a burger and a beer.
You got Jeremy Norrie? No, Jeremy Norrie? No,
Jake Jolly.
Oh, Jake Jolly. You have him scheduled.
He's coming on Saturday. So this was ages ago. It was near the podathon. He messaged me actually, said, "Can I come on?" I was like, "Yeah," because obviously he couldn't really promote his film on the podathon because Carlos Fienza fucking set fire to him for like 10 minutes, which was hilarious. And I was like, "Oh, do you know what?" So I'm going to get him to send over a copy. I need to reach out to him and make sure it's still on this week, but it should be 1 p.m. Eastern Saturday. Jake Jolly. So I don't know if James is going to be on. He's welcome. But I'm going to try and let him actually talk about his movie for an hour.
That's cool. Yeah, he said he felt like overwhelmed by the comedians in the room that night on the podathon.
But it started to get difficult because even Alex Lean that I got on, he didn't know because I think he thought he was going to come on and do bits. He does musical stuff and all that stuff, and he'd set all his stuff up. And he came on, and then those two other guys, I can't remember their names. One was an ex-Long Island guy, one is in California, and they came on early, like an hour early.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people doing that, so then there were 4 or 5 people. So it's like I was messaging him at the time, going, we'll just go with it. Sorry, it's just we just have a chat. But everything worked out fine, and that's what happened with Jake, I think, as well, because I think Carlos stayed, some other people came on, and it was probably a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, Carlos got him. Carlos was fucking with him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you could just see him homing on him. And it was just like, oh, this poor kid plays for his movie.
Yeah, but Jake's a good guy.
I need to rewatch it because I haven't rewatched that segment, but I remember just fucking howling at Carlos.
Yeah. Well, I got to get Carlos on. He's not a morning person, unfortunately, and I don't want to do too many more night shows. I'm looking to get out of doing a night show.
That's got to be the problem with comics. I can't believe you got that LA guy up at 7 a.m. Most comics, they can't. They're getting in at 3 o'clock.
I've gotten several on from California now at 7 a.m. Yeah,
it's great. It's wild.
I'm not getting any big names at 7 a.m. Let's face it. I'm getting people
to fuck off.
Yeah, I'm getting people, open micers or just past the open mic cherry breaking portion of their career.
But it's good. There seems to be some good guys. There's a few of them that you've had on that I'll probably reach out to as well. I can't remember any names off the top of my head now. I've been making notes all over the place. I'll have to find them. But there's been some good comics that have come on, and I like talking to people from every level, every single level, like even in person.
What are you doing for gas over there? What are the gas prices over there? I mean, are they astronomical like here, or what's going on?
They are going up. Let me see what it is around here, because every region's different around here as well. Like south will be different to Wales and stuff. They are soaring. Today in UK is 145. So I guess that's about 2 something. That'll be per. But then we got the measurement thing. It's per liter in the UK.
Yeah.
155 per liter, which is, I don't know, you do gallon, I guess, do you?
Yeah. No, liter. Oh, I don't know.
A
We
liter's
did this
like
before. I
a
thought a
liter's
liter was like a
a
quart.
whole episode of measurement. A liter's like 2 pints. A liter's probably 2 of these.
Yeah, that's a quart.
So about 155 pounds, and that to dollars will be about $2, I guess.
Right.
A quart. I don't know.
Wow.
That
So that would be like $8 a gallon here. Wow.
Yeah, let me quickly do it. GBP to USD, because it's about fluctuated a bit for a few years. We've been a bit higher now, so 155. Yeah, 204 per liter.
Wow,
Today.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, because I saw someone complaining about 6 on Twitter from the US.
Yeah, $6 and $7 in California. Right where I am, it's about $4, a little over $4 a gallon here. But that, if it keeps, I'm worried it's going to kill the entertainment industry, because people are not going to go out and spend money on a show and dinner and stuff when prices are going through the roof on everything, groceries and all that kind of stuff, and then gas on top of that, heating oil, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna. We're expecting problems here as well. So please don't start the maths, because I remember there was a whole show.
Yeah, and then we got to do euros to dollars, and come on, or pounds to dollars, whatever we're doing.
But thanks for the help, though. Yeah, it's going to be, there's a crash of some sort coming, and obviously the Ukraine thing's going to set stuff off. So it's, who the fuck knows? I think there will still be enough for what I'm doing. There's still going to be enough people, because a lot of it's local, right? So wherever I am, most people going out to the shows are local. They're not really driving there. They're probably walking or taking a cab. And
well, the reason I ask, because in this country, they seem to think that the U.S. was at some point energy independent. We were never energy independent. But they're saying that oil companies drilling on U.S. soil are charging U.S. people twice as much as they have to for drilling on American soil. Like, they're not importing this oil; they're just taking advantage of the situation.
I would expect, given what's happening, I would expect that to change. There'll probably be some government pressure to change that, because there needs to be now, even for Europe, right, independence from Russia in particular. In the UK, actually, we get 3% from Russia. We get almost fuck all. Most of our stuff comes from Norway. I didn't know that, but there's countries like Germany and stuff. That's why they're resisting it, but because they get like 30% from Russia. So if they cut it or pull out of it, then they've got to then go and find that
fucking Germans somewhere. And why is Germany, of all people, getting in bed with Russia?
Germany have been bad before. Don't get in bad with the bad guys now.
But they were mortal enemies, and that's who defeated, really, the Soviet Union.
Germans don't hold grudges, though. They're to be fair, they're the nicest fucking people.
Hitler held a grudge, but he wasn't really German. He was Austrian. But he held a grudge against France, which is what I think World War II was all about.
Well, they let him in really easily, though, the French, to be fair. But the UK and Germany, you would expect to have a big rivalry, but we don't. It's all cool now. It's all good.
Bizarre.
Like, I guess, but you said before, like US and Vietnam, they fucking want US tourists over there, and they treat you like a king when you go over there.
They do, but we don't not necessarily opening our arms to say, "Hey, Vietnam, come on over."
Yeah, but people say that, but everyone's still going to go out for Vietnamese noodles in Manhattan, right? So they still want a bit of it. You need to come over and cook your food for us.
Yeah. And to your point, though, Vietnam, we were actually and Laos and Cambodia and all that stuff. We were bombing the hell out of them for 20 years, like every day, bombs falling on them for U.S. flag. Yeah,
you were setting fire to children's skin, like they couldn't get it off. Like that's, or then you'd have a US soldier that went ballistic and he would just massacre an entire village and put an ear necklace on. Wear the neck, soldiers on acid and all that kind of stuff, because they're experimenting on keeping them awake.
And they forgive us.
Yeah,
they just
they chose love, and everyone's getting a good thing about it. But I went to Germany. Actually, weirdly, Germany's got a really good English-speaking stand-up scene.
Yeah, they always had English entertainment there. Always.
Yeah,
I mean,
I went to Berlin just before COVID, and I think I might go back soon. And I just did a mic there in East Berlin, and you could tell what was that side of the wall and what was this side of the wall. It's just a weird neighborhood, but it's very arty over there. So that east over what was the Iron Curtain, I guess. It's all very arty. You've got really interesting nightclubs and big comedy scene and
this
a lot
is
of music.
interesting because I've always questioned because Germans and the German language is just so rigid and hard.
But it sounds very harsh, doesn't it? It
Right.
sounds like they're telling you to go fuck yourself.
And because I have it in my mind that they raped and pillaged all of Europe for its art during World War II, I'm thinking these are people who are artistically challenged. So because they couldn't create their own art, they had to rob all the great art from the rest of Europe and the world.
I think, yeah, it is interesting, but they must have they've obviously got a lot of guilt and built-in trauma into their country because they went through it after World War One. They went through it, and then they went through it again after World War Two, like bad times for 40 years. So I don't know, maybe that creates. Because I think shit times create good art, don't they? So it probably came from that. I don't know.
Yeah. But so they're good comedy fans, and I guess they like music when it's done in English, but they don't produce. At least I don't know of any really great German pop.
I know that more like death metal stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff, and techno, like heavy, like EDM. They're into that stuff. But then I might be 15 years out of date. I don't know.
Yeah, that's.
I think they do everything. I think they do everything out there.
Spring chicken. Spring pigeon.
No spring dove, and but I think they do. I think they do everything out there. It's a great place, to be honest. Beer is fucking cheap. Beer is so cheap. You go into like a store, and beer is half price of what it is in the UK.
Cheaper than water, right?
It's pretty much. It's not far off. I think you can buy like a nice beer in a supermarket for fucking $1.
It's not. The women are incredibly hot.
Listen, I'm a fan of multicultural vaginas, I have to say. And they've got International
Vagina Month.
Yeah, exactly. They've got I'd say, but like every country, you've got a range, and some of them are terrifying.
I get like whenever I think of German women, I get this image of like Marlene Dietrich in my mind, and I'm really dating myself there, but for my grandfather's generation, that was hot shit. Marlene Dietrich was as sexy as it came. I mean, so that's what I think of. That's this image that is ingrained in my mind when I think of German women. No, they're not all hot.
I tell you what, there were 3, but they were prostitutes, right? So I was walking around on my final night looking for a bath to go and get fucked up in before my flight, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. But I walked past this doorway, and honestly, I'd noticed these women, but they didn't look like prostitutes, right? And they weren't in any way like meth. There was none of that. They looked like 3 hot, rich tourists from Switzerland or something. There were just 3, and I noticed women. Them. Well, I was like, wow, they look. I was just like, fucking hell, classy tourists, and they literally, as I walked past, asked me if I wanted a good time, and it's like they were like, honestly, they had expensive clothes on. They must have been high end, probably like €1,000 an hour sort of thing.
They thought you could afford them.
Yeah, which is crazy. I must have looked like an artist because when I was on that trip, I was basically so close to shitting myself almost every time I went out because I was drinking all the beer and eating all the fucking everything, and just sweating. It wasn't a good time for me in that way, health wise, but I had a lot of fun. But I did end up in a bar called Tarantino's, named after Quentin Tarantino.
Wow!
And Tarantino had actually been in there because they filmed Inglourious Bastards nearby, and when he was filming, he went in. So this guy's run this bar for like 20 years, and it's full. It's a dive bar. People are smoking cigarettes in there. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? red lights, and it's just the walls are just covered in Tarantino stuff, and they show movies on silent. Beautiful place, but I stayed in there for about 6 hours. I don't even remember I must have got a cab to where I was staying, then to the airport. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember getting on the flight. I was fucked. I don't know why they let me on the flight. I was so drunk. I was drinking a cocktail called Bad Motherfucker.
Well, this is a thing I never understood anyway. Why not let drunks on a plane? If all you're going to do is sit there and you're going to get strapped in, I mean, that's what you want to do to a drunk. You want to strap them in, let them sleep it off.
I was just asleep on a Chinese lady. That's what it was. An hour's flight because I'd been to Amsterdam. So Amsterdam is an hour from London, right? I got a train to Brussels, which is like 3 hours, and then I flew from Brussels to Berlin. I did like a 12-day loop, came back the same way. So it's an hour flight back to Brussels, and I woke up at 7 a.m. just snoring on a small Chinese lady. I think I apologized to her. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't remember anything about the last 5 hours.
I did that on a Greyhound bus across country. I woke up on a lady's shoulder, and she was not happy.
Then I've had it in Peru. I was in a fucking dangerous bus driving around the Andes. You know these classic mountain. You're up a mountain, and down here is death.
Right.
And the guy's just like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's just smoking and driving, and just picking up random Peruvians in their wool ponchos or whatever the fuck they wear. And they must have been. They were picking up workers, basically working in the fucking mountains. And then there's like 2 Brazilians and 2 English people just in the back. But she got in and she just didn't give a fuck. She got in and put her head on me and just went to sleep for 2 hours.
Wow.
And I was like, then you don't want to move your arm because you don't want to.
I would be rude. Hey, get the fuck off of me.
As I get older, I'm probably get ruder. But I had the same when I came to America. I got a real cheap flight, right? Years ago. We connected through Iceland and then went to LA. But this American girl was going home, and she was quite nice, first of all. But she fell asleep. She must have took pills. She fell asleep within an hour, and we had like a 7-hour flight to LA from Iceland or whatever it was. But she was just dead, and I needed a pee. I needed a pee for about 2.5 hours before I did anything. She was asleep, almost on me and on the food tray, like across in front of me, and I just didn't want to. I was like, in the end, I climbed over her after 2.5 hours of nearly dying. I just got up. I was like, I'm gonna piss myself. I stepped over her and climbed out. The stewardess was looking at me like I'm a fucking terrorist. But then when I got back, she was wide awake. She's like, "Oh, hi."
Oh man!
No,
wow, I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
Hey, don't let me be the reason you're late for your gig. Watch the.
Oh no, I'm good. It starts in 30 minutes, but it's literally around the corner. I will go in about 5 minutes.
I just don't want to be blamed for anything ever in my life.
You know what? I forgot there was a fucking gig. It's in. I'm sure it's just around the corner. I'll check on the map right now. I think it's on this street, and the one that I did the other night was over the road too. So I'm in a really good location that way.
I forget it's nighttime there, so it's gonna be. So you're going on like 7:30 or something.
Well, the show will start in 30 minutes, which is 7:30. So it better be close. Yeah, it's close. It's close. So I need to go in about 5 minutes, so we'll wrap this up. Yeah, the show will start at 7:30. Most shows start at 8. They always say 7:30, but they really start at 8. But I think this night seems to start a bit earlier for some reason, and they're strict with time. They're strict. So it'll be probably 7:30 to 10, I would think. I don't know when I'm going up. I don't know if I'm on first. I prefer not to. I'm not really a first up.
Does anybody in the crowd actually know you? Like,
I don't know because I've been down here 5 or 6 times since September, and I'm getting to know more comics. And the reason I'm doing these gigs is because they are progressive. They're gigs, well, hopefully some people that run some better gigs are watching. So it's that kind of stuff. You never know, but I've heard weird things about this venue. It might be a rough one, so we'll see.
So, so do a little behind the scenes of footage on your phone and send it me so I can use it on tomorrow's morning with the dog show. Coffee with the
I can definitely. I've got some stuff from the other day as well. But I'll see if it's worthy of that. It might just be, yeah. Even if it's weird, I'll maybe get a little video or something though. Because there are some weird places down here, and I've had 2 or 3 fucking difficult, rough gigs where it's just like being in a room full of zombies. You know, at the end of a zombie film, where you open a door and there's 30 zombies just like the crowds are sometimes like that in this city.
Yeah.
So it could be, but then my tactic is just to not give a shit, and then I'm just super aggressive to them. And then if I think they look like they're going to stab me, I'll say that to them. I'll just say, look, you just don't stab me in the face. I'm just going to say these weird things, and then I've got to try and test what I can throw out, what I can lob into the crowd. Probably anything. If they're animals, probably anything. But then people like that get really upset over weird stuff.
Yeah,
like it could be just something out of the blue. They're like, "Oh, well, you can't joke about that."
What can't you? Yeah, you can joke about anything. You have my permission to joke about anything you want. Tell them that.
Thank you. I did after that assault incident on Monday. I think I've got to listen to it back. I had a couple of beers, to be honest, when I went on that second one, and I think I threatened to assault and rape the entire crowd during my bit, but they laughed, so that's always good. But so yeah, sometimes you think, shall I say something or shall I just throw a hand grenade?
Well, I think, speaking of throwing a hand grenade, I got this idea for how to start a fight in a venue if you want to, because you know if you come out and say, "Hey, anybody from wherever," and you'll just get one guy who just says, "Yeah," no matter what. I mean, he's just ready to, yeah. You just come out and say, "Hey, any pedophiles here tonight?" And the guy go, "Hey," and then you just let the room just take him out and take care of it.
I'm not going to give out his bit, but George Willoughby's got a great one of his jokes. He's done it for a while, but it's just great. He does it early on. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is about rape and paedophilia, and it's great. It's just a little two-liner.
You can't joke about that. No.
Well, he's also got quite a few cancer jokes, and we were in this one weird place one night, and he did it, and the whole crowd were like, "No, you cannot joke about cancer," and they were arseholes. This was the kind of gig where they were coming up and trying to take the microphone to do karaoke, but it was just a shithole. But George did tell him that at the end of his spot as well. He just laid into them, told them what a shithole they lived in, and then we left.
Wow.
So sometimes you've just got to tell people that they're scumbags, and then hope that you don't get stabbed.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool, man. And I wish you good luck tonight. But I just wanted to say that war stuff you did that I edited, put the intro on it, and all that stuff. That's doing really well on TikTok.
I was a bit. That was just such a last minute thing that it was.
I know, but if you put some thought into it and I edit that up, that's what I'm saying. It's doing really well. So this idea of short bits, skit stuff, I can do the editing. If you can come up, and I can probably help with some ideas and stuff. But if you do a minute of stuff, we could definitely get some viral shit going on with.
That's great actually. And we're gonna do a lot of that stuff on the Dykes of Mann. We've got a lot of stuff planned that it's gonna be more written stuff thrown in, and then also on my other stuff, and like I've got a YouTube channel that eventually I'll start putting stuff on, and that kind of stuff might go on there as well. So all those little clips help. Like getting TikTok is good. That's good to hear that you've got a few views on there. That's nice.
Yeah, we got to get Keely on the team, so because as you know, she's Jamie's boss, we'll get her on the team to give him a kick in the ass to get him more proactive in doing some stuff.
We've been messaging each other in the background. We are going to do stuff. We're going to do a couple of things tomorrow, but then over the next 3 or 4,
I'm concerned about his work ethic. I'll have to call HR and see what we can do about him.
Yeah, really. He's got very little work ethic, but he's He's also got a family man as well, so I've got no responsibility in my life, so I've got more time to do stupid shit.
We got to put together a PIP for him, performance improvement plan.
Probably what his doctor's got for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thumbing it in there, thumbing in his bloodless piece of sushi. Sorry, Jamie, I'm joking. I'm fucking around. I need to. I've got to get. This show starts in 26 minutes, so I need to go.
Go.
It's been thanks for jumping on though. It's been a nice chat.
Just dump me. Just dump me. I'll stay here.
Thank you for everyone that watched, and I could leave you here, but you can't end the broadcast. That we just keep streaming.
Right. But I'll just be frozen anyway. You can just leave me.
We'll do that. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kat. I will try. We will see you later. We'll see you tomorrow at Ducks and Man, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You bad motherfuckers.